What does integrity mean? According to the dictionary, there's three different definitions. It says firm adherence to a code of especially moral or artistic values, incorruptibility. Number two, an unimpaired condition, soundness. Or number three, the quality or state of being complete or undivided completeness. So that's what integrity means to the dictionary. So what does integrity mean to you? What does it mean in your life, in business, in relationships? What does it mean? To me, integrity means that I'm going to show up, I'm going to do what I say, and I'm going to do what's right, regardless of if anyone will see me do the right thing or if they know that I've done the right thing. About the time I was 16 years old, I got a job at a small little department store. And when I say small, I mean this thing was pretty teeny. They had all kinds of different aisles. Each aisle was dedicated to a different type of product. If you walked into the store, there was a shopping carts right here, and then the candy aisle, and then the candy aisle led right to the cash registers. And it was incredible to see the number of people that had no integrity when they would come in and shop. And most of the time, what was the most astounding to me is it wasn't the little kids. It wasn't these 6, 7, 8, 9-year-olds that just saw something and had to have the toy or the candy or the clothes. No, it was anyone who was ages about 12 up through adults that had the issue with integrity. I was shocked at how many adults there were that were shoplifting from the store. It became a semi-regular occurrence that we would catch a shoplifter, call the police would come down, do the whole report, take them out of the store. They would incur all kinds of issues. One instance that I'll probably never forget was it was kind of late in the afternoon, and there was 2 employees, myself and another one. And I was working the cash register. The other employee was going around doing all the stocking of the shelves and a bunch of different types of work. And this customer came in that we had suspected for a long time. And he was about 14 years old. And the craziest part was his dad was a police officer. And I knew who he was. He grew up in my neighborhood, and we'd suspected him a long time of being a dishonest person. And we devised a trap when we saw him walk in. So one of my coworkers actually ran and hid in a place where he could see what he was going to do. And I made sure that I was visible to the customer the whole time. And that customer is doing his shopping, grabbing some stuff. I deliberately walked out of his range of vision and was very loud about it and walked over and grabbed my water bottle and started drinking water where he could see. And what he did is he ran into the candy aisle and grabbed a candy bar, slid it in his pocket, and then came up to pay. I couldn't believe it. He took the bait. And as soon as he walked out of the store, we opened the door and said, "Didn't you forget something?" And he's like, "What?" I was like, "Oh yeah, you were going to pay for that candy bar that you just stole and is in your left pocket." My coworker came up. We had the evidence on him, busted another person. What shocked me the most is that he would literally sell his integrity for a candy bar. At the time, it was a 50-cent candy bar. Literally 50 cents for a candy bar, and he was willing to sell his integrity for that. It was like 2 minutes of sweetness in his mouth. And his integrity was of such low value, he was willing to get rid of it. There's a side inside of people who say, "Oh, it doesn't matter. It is only just a 50-cent candy bar. It's not a big deal." But if you know somebody who's willing to be dishonest for 50 cents, can you really trust them to do anything in life? And if you can't trust someone, will you ever do business with them? And if someone cannot trust you, will they ever do business with you? That kid was never allowed in the grocery store again, and he has a situation that's probably going to haunt him for a while, and hopefully he learned from it so that he could course correct and become a better individual. But how many people do you know that are messing up their life every day because they're willing to cut corners on the job? They're willing to do a halfway job if no one's looking. If something doesn't matter, they don't take care of it. Do you do business with those kind of people? One of the things that I think is one of the greatest punishments is not the fact that people stop doing business with you if you're that way, but the fact that inside, when a person is living that way, they expect everyone else to be doing the same thing to them. So they have lost all faith in humanity because they have no faith in themselves. They know they cheat, lie, steal, and sell their integrity for a candy bar. So they expect everyone else to behave the same way, and they're constantly looking over their shoulders to see who's trying to harm them. A person may get ahead for a while with those kinds of techniques, but in the long run, they don't sleep well, they don't eat well, They don't have any inner peace, and they're constantly looking out to see what others are doing to them. It's an awful way to live. Now, there's a story that Walt Disney had created some characters before his most famous creations that we all grew up knowing and loving. And the story goes that an unscrupulous businessman and company came in and was able to steal the intellectual property right out from under him for those characters. And what astounds me the most is that would have been a major blow to anyone. First off, this story is real, that he didn't give up, that he just went right on carrying on. But what astounds me more is he was such a person of integrity that everything that he did create, first off, it was worth enough that some other company would try and steal it from him. But as he continued to build throughout his entire life, he always over-delivered, whether it was the films he produced, whether it was the entertainment parks that he created an atmosphere where he had uncompromising integrity in that he was always going to deliver a greater value to people than he took from them. And the world fell in love with everything that he created. So in a world where people lie, steal, cheat every day, I invite you to make a conscious decision to make a stand and say, I will always do what's right in my business, personal life, relationships, even when no one's watching. Because even if it never benefits you from an outside standpoint, the peace you get from the inside is worth it 100%.